lot has changed since we had first seen each other last year. So for most of you that are just returning, you remember who I am. For those of you who are new, I'm going to jump right into it. My name is Sensei Gydosh. I'm the therapeutic martial arts instructor here. I want to start off by just telling you a few things about me so we can start off with knowing a little bit about each other. I'll probably hear more about you guys as we continue on with class. So for now, just a little bit about me. I've been doing martial arts for more than 3/4 of my life. This is actually my 6th year teaching here in Akron Elementary. I've been doing martial arts since I was 9. So I'm very big into it. I love learning new things when it comes to martial arts, and I'm very open to new things when it comes to learning. So I'm a big car person. Most of my students know me that, I love working on cars. It's something that I like to do besides doing martial arts. As you get to know me, you'll learn more of my loves and my hates for that. So most of my students can probably tell you what I drive or what my favorite car is. And as the year goes by and we keep talking with each other, we're going to probably learn a little bit about each other. So let's go ahead and jump into the first things first. So I want to talk to you guys about what's changed. The first thing being probably something you're already very aware of, masks. I want to talk to you guys about the right way to use a mask and how to go about that. So a lot of you probably have a mask similar to this. It's blue, it's non-reusable, which means you can only use this once. I'm going to go over all the steps of using this mask, and when we get into the building, we are going to be required to wear this mask. So first off, you want to find the side that has a metal rod in it. This is for your nose, so this is going to be the top of the mask. You'll be able to feel it by just using your fingers to rub at the very center of the mask, and you'll either feel a metal rod or you won't. Once you've found it, what you want to do from this point on, make sure you have the blue side out, is you're going to want to only touch the string parts of the mask. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open this mask up. You can see how it just expanded a little bit. And I'm going to hook it to my ear. And I'm going to go over to my other ear. Once I've done this, this is where I talked about having that metal rod. You just want to find it and use your 2 fingers and just gently push. And what that does is it gives a nice, good feeling to your face. I'm going to pull it down and make it fully touch. And this is it. This is the wearing the mask. So you never want to touch the outside of the mask. These masks are here to filtrate and keep you safe and healthy. So all the yucky stuff sits on the outside. So if you ever have to take one of these off, never actually touch it. Use your fingers to loop behind the ear to pull it off. And you can do that with one hand and still have it sit, and you can see my other ear actually holds it in place. So, and I can easily put this right back on, just like that. So, when we get into the building, obviously right now we're only learning through video, so you won't have to wear one as you watch a video from home, unless that's something you like to do. But when we do get back into the dojo, we are going to be required to wear these. Just like if you were at a store shopping with mom, dad, grandpa, grandma, whoever, if you were going to any kind of public place, this is going to be something we have to wear every day. So, moving on from that part. So, since I'm by myself, and I'm going to be doing some activities with you guys, I'm going to go ahead and take this off. When you're done with these are not reusable. That means you can't put them back on the next day. If it's been like a few minutes and you have it sitting in a nice clean place, that's fine. I would really prefer when you're done with these, you actually take them, you fold them inside out so you don't touch the outsides, and then put them in some kind of plastic or paper bag preferred. And that would be the way you would dispose of these. They're only one time. So let's go ahead and start our day in the dojo. So, go ahead and follow me on over here. I'm coming on over here. So, the first thing before we even are allowed to begin martial arts is we got to know how to enter and leave a dojo. It's very important that when you enter and leave a dojo, we do something called bowing. Bowing is a sign of respect. And it's not just you giving me respect, it's me giving you respect. It's something that I would hope that we both share with each other. My feet are going to be together, I'm going to be facing the room I'm entering or leaving. My hands are going to be at my side. I'm going to face, and I'm going to bow. Come on in the dojo. Hey, thanks for coming on in. So now that we've bowed in and we've got into our room, let's take up the first part of any martial arts class, the full way to bow in. So once we're in our room and we're on our spots, and when we get physically back into the building, we'll have our spots. We're going to do the first word we're going to learn in martial arts for all the new people. If you're someone who automatically knows what this word is, this is not something new to you. So I'm going to show you ski. And what that word is when I call, it means come to attention. My feet are at a V, my hands are at my side, and my eyes are on the speaker. So, if I was perfectly relaxed, or even if I was sitting in a chair in a room and my teacher calls ski, it means I stand up and I get eyes on the speaker and I don't move my hands or feet because it's important. So, what that would look like is I'm very relaxed right now and I call ski. My hands are pressed, my feet are together. We're ready to begin class. So the first part we're going to be looking towards the front of the room, and I would say, show me your hand. We look towards our sensei, Sensei Gydosh. And then last but least, I would say it back to you guys because I want respect to come from their beginning to me, to you guys. So then, as we're still in this pose, if we had any other teachers in the room, they would come first, and then you guys, and again, it would be students Nire. So, now that we have our intro into our video of how we're going to begin, we're going to talk about some of the safety things that come in from dojo. So the first thing I want to talk about is our weapons. When you're in a dojo, we have all kinds of unique tools. I don't even really want to call them weapons because they're more of tools. As long as you use them appropriately, we'll have more and more classes of this, especially when we get back into the building. Misuse of tools or weapons is an instant timeout. Your weapon will be taken away for the first 5 minutes, and then up to me when you'll be returning after that. So after your 5 minutes is done, I think you're ready to return. That would be your first strike. Second strike of doing that again, you lose your weapon for the rest of the class. You would not be able to rejoin, and then if we have a fun activity going on that day, there's a very high chance that you would be excluded. Weapons are very serious, and I have to take it as a serious situation. Any kind of injury to one, yourself, or anyone else, I have to rewrite that up. So let's not take that any further than it needs to, and let's learn some really cool things when it comes to our tools. Alright. So now that we know we're not allowed to touch that, let's talk on the little basic things. Whenever you're in a room and the speaker's talking, we already know it's impolite to talk when they're talking. We know that if we're looking away, not giving eye contact, or having another side conversation when the teacher's talking, we know that's kind of rude. I wouldn't do that to you guys if you came up to me and you wanted to ask me a question. I wouldn't look to another teacher and say, hey, I'm not listening. So I would really expect the same thing when we get back to the room. For right now, as we're virtual and we're not face-to-face, it's just really important to pay attention because you can easily get lost in what we're doing. So it's very important not to skip parts of the video because I might be explaining some safety things. So that leads me into just have respect. That's number 2. Number 3, when we do return to the dojo, we're going to be taking safety to another level, right? Usually my rules would be hands and feet to yourself. I'm going to take that a little bit further. As you could probably guess, we're going to be 6 feet apart at all times. And we'll never ever touch another person in my room. That's an automatic pin move. So, if that consistently happens, if I have to email mom, dad, grandpa, whoever that has to be, that's something I will do. If it turns into more and I don't get a response, I do call home. A lot of you know that. For the new people, I call and I keep calling. I'm like a telemarketer. I'm very annoying. So, as long as you be safe, we'll have tons of making sure you show up for class. Right now, things are a little bit different. Showing up isn't the same as coming to the building. So what I mean by that is, every day I'm going to be uploading a new video, and it's going to have maybe a new warm-up. It might have a new activity. Some things are not going to change because maybe I pick something that I want to work on and it might be the same. While other parts of the video, when you get all the way through, you'll understand I changed a lesson. It's always going to be a new lesson unless we're getting ready for promotions. And we'll talk about that when we get closer to it. So, the way you're going to receive credit for my class for the first week is I'm probably going to hold up a word. Today I'm not going to have one. And you just gotta either write me into the classroom, you can email me, any one of those will do. I'm still tweaking things, so that might change, so don't expect a lot of work on this first week, but afterwards, I'm gonna start sending home questions in your binders and your Blizzard bags, so that way you can answer them on the videos. It's not going to be something, crazy difficult. It will just be something that as long as you watch this video, you'll have the answer. So, going into what it's going to look like when you get into the dojo. So I want to show some new people who haven't been in my dojo before what my dojo kind of looks like. So this is kind of like the front of my room. This is my area. You are not allowed to go in my area unless you are given permission. I have a lot of things up here. I have a lot of belts up here. I have a lot of tools up here. And without my permission, that's an automatic pin move. It's because of safety. And it's also I've had a lot of things disappear from the room. So when I lose things like that, like a very good example, if I start losing too many foam balls, there might be an activity that I'm doing, and if I run out of foam balls, I can't do that activity no more. So in order for us to have the most possible fun that we can with learning new things, I have to keep things in the room. So that's more of when we get back into the room. Alright, so now that we have that done, we won't have to talk about this for much longer. We would get into warm-ups. So let's go ahead and get into that part right now. So, today I'm going to be targeting balancing. Balancing is when your body tries to stay upright to the best of its ability. Or there might be other challenges that I have come in the future of trying to keep level of some nature. So today, we're going to be constantly focusing on balancing. I have a few warm-ups and an activity or two that we're going to be using for this. And then we're going to get into some very basic terms that I want you to know for martial arts. So, let's go ahead and get started into warm-ups. So the first thing I want you to do, and this is something you should be standing up and doing with me every single day, is just lift your knee. I have my knee about level right now, and I just want to hold it up. My toes are pointed up, and my knee is up, and I'm going to hold for a time. I'm going to be counting in Japanese. If you've never counted in Japanese before, as the time goes by, you'll get better and better at it. For those of you who have done this before, I expect counting at home. So, I have my knee up. Ich, ni, san, chi, ko, rok, sich, hach, ku, ju. At this point, I'm going to put it down, I'm going to relax that leg, and I'm going to switch over to my other leg. My knee is up, I find my balance, so I give myself a second. Ich, ni, san, chi, go, roku, seiji, hachi, ku, ju. I put my foot down. So the next thing I'm going to do is I've had my knee really high, now I'm only going to be bringing my toes up. So, my toe is pointed right towards where I want to be looking, and I want to do circular motions. I'm going to do this for about 5 seconds in one direction. So this time I'm going to my right. Ich, ni, san, chi, go. Now I'm going to switch to the opposite direction, so I'm going to my left. Ich, ni, san, chi, go. I'm going to be switching, so now we're at the opposite foot. This foot is planted. I find my balance, I'm going to go to my right. Ich, ni, san, chi, go. Now to my left. Ich, ni, san, chi, go. I'll be placing that down. So let's get into something a little bit more complicated. So this is really great for just figuring out how much balance you truly have. Let's get into something a little bit more difficult. So this might be an activity that you need some help with. So if you're still looking for your balance, and you're still working on it, you can easily find something like a chair. If you don't have a chair, and you live near a wooded area, or maybe you just have a tree, a stick could be your best friend too. And I'm going to show you the stick part of it if you don't have a chair on the opposite foot. So here's what I'm going to do for this next part. I'm going to take my right hand, my right side of my body, and I'm going to place my right hand here, and I'm going to take my right leg, and I'm going to extend it out while my front hand's forward. If you're having trouble balancing, the chair will definitely help you. I'm going to hold for 10. Ich, ni, san, chi, go, rok, sich, hach, ku, ju. So if you don't have a chair at home, your other option, if somebody has a walking stick at home, maybe there's a really good stick that you just really trust at the home, or maybe you have something really strong and about your height. You could use that just as well. So I'm going to be using my left hand's got a good grip. I want to make sure I'm safe. And I'm going to use my left leg to bring it up, and my right hand is going to be coming forward. So I extend, and I want that foot as high as I can. Ich, ni, san, chi, go, rok, sich, hach, ku, ju. If you get super comfortable doing that activity, you could remove both the chair and the stick and just see if you can hold that. 10 seconds is the recommended. Let's get into something that requires a little bit more across the body. This is probably one of my favorite warm-ups and one of my favorite activities to do, and they're called cross crawls. So my hands are up, and here's the goal. If this hand on my left-hand side of my body is going to be touching my right knee, so I'm actually coming across my body. So I want to lift my knee and touch. Once I touch, that knee can touch the ground again. So I'm going to do this 10 times. Ich, ni, san, chi, go, rok, sich, hach, ku, ju. Once I've done 10 in the front, let's go to the back. I'm going to show you a sideways view of what that really looks like. Ich, ni, san, chi, go, rok, sich, hach, ku, ju. And for the last part of this, I'm going to be tapping the very bottom of my foot. 10. Ich, ni, san, chi, go, rok, sich, hach, ku, ju. Very good. So now that we've worked across our bodies and we had to actually support our weight on one foot, let's make things a little bit more interesting. If you have a cup, maybe you have a small sand bucket, or maybe you have something that's cylinder, round on the bottom, place it right in front of you. And here's what the activity is. So I want to see if I can lift. I'm going to put my body to the point this foot is lined right up. So if you had to see from the side, it looks something like this. My foot's right in line with it. I'm going to have my hand up, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this foot, and I want to come down, touch the bucket, come back up, give this guy a high five. I'm going to repeat this 5 times, and then switch to my other side. Ready? Ich, ni, san. And if you fail and you stop, don't restart. Just continue right where you left off. Just how I stopped right there. So I'm at 3. Let's go straight to 4. Ich, ni. And that was 2 more twisted, I would make 5. I should have said shi, go, for those of us still learning to count. I'm going to switch to my opposite side. Let's see if I'm any better on one side of my body than the other. Okay, my foot comes up. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. And that was 6. Should have said that with proof. Okay, so that's the first part. Let's get into something more challenging. This is going to be the last thing we do today. So, all I want to do is, I want to rock my right foot back and forth. And when I do this, I want my hand to be in the opposite direction. It'll look like I'm doing a weird dance. And then I want to switch. And then I'm going to do it front to back. So what's really important is we want to simulate walking. So if I'm walking, the foot that's behind me, that's a hand that's forward. So when I walk, it would be polar opposites. If you don't know what that means that this hand's behind me, or this foot's behind me, this hand's forward. And that's just how we walk. So the activity would just be and then I would switch. And then I could do it on opposite hand, opposite foot. I have a lot more that goes with that. And as we progress, I have more things to do there. So let's get into the last part of today before we leave. Let's talk about very basic stances I'm going to be looking for and very basic terms I want you to know. So one of them we talked about, ski. This is probably the most important stance you can learn, because if you can learn this stance, you can learn them all. So what I like to do when I'm in ski, if I want to learn a few more stances from here, and we're only going to cover one more today, is I have my toes pointed out. I'm going to show you my feet. My toes are pointed out, my heels are touching. I'm going to take my heels, and now my feet are pointed directly forward. Let's do this one more time. My toes are pointed out, and now I bring out the very backs of my feet, and now they're pointed directly forward. I'm going to take one foot, point it this way, and take the other foot and follow through. I'm going to bend my knee just to the point that goes right over my toes. And when I do that, and I can't see my toes, I have my very first karate stance. This is called a front stance. The Japanese word is Zen Kujidachi. So this is going to be one of our very front stances that we learn when it comes to doing any kind of technique. So now that we have one of our stances, and our very important stances down, let's talk about other very important words. Yame. If yame is called, it means stop immediately. If I have an activity going on that requires you to be moving, or maybe you're outside at recess and you might be playing a game with somebody else, if a teacher or Mrs. Presley or me comes out and either calls ski or yame, that means stop immediately. And if they call ski, bring your feet together and hands at your side. It's very important if I call yame because it means I need your attention, so we can either go forward in the activity, or something might not be safe and I've seen it and I'm trying to get your attention so you're aware of it. Okay, so the last thing I want to do with you guys before I let you go is I want to do a cool down. And what that looks like is, you guessed it, it's going to be dealing with balancing. I'm going to be crossing my feet. Taking this hand, I'm going to do a big circle into my body, and a big circle into my body. breaths. I'm going to count to 3. Once I take a deep breath to release it. Each, ni, san. I'm going to do this one more time. Each, ni, san. I'm going to be extending my arms right above my head. I want them as much behind my ears as I can. Ready? Take a deep breath in. Each, ni, san. One more. Each, ni, san. I bring my hands in. I'm going to extend them forward. Take a deep breath in. Each, ni, san. Again. Each, ni, san. From here, I can relax my body, and now we're ready for the final part of today. How do we exit, and how do we end class? So, at the end of class, we should all be on our assigned spots. For me, it's right here in the front of the room. I'm going to call ski, or I might have somebody that's appointed my senpai. If I appoint somebody my senpai, I'll explain that more later. It means that they're allowed to do this. So if I call ski, my feet are together, my hands are at my sides, and I'm going to tell us to point to the showman. The showman is at the very front of the room, so it's always important to begin here. Showman, you ready? Boom. Then we turn to sensei. Sensei, you ready? Boom. If I have teachers in the room, I'm going to be turning to them especially. They are very important, and you should be respecting them as well, just like they should be bowing back. Then we turn to our teacher, and after we're done, I would turn to you. So, student, you ready? Boom. And that's how I'd end class. So, I hope you learned a lot from our first day. There's a lot more videos to come from this, and I'm going to keep adding more and more up. So until then, stay safe. Make sure you wear your mask if you're in public. And I can't wait till you guys start answering some of those questions I have for you. Have an awesome day, Summit Academy. Bye. Things I want you to know. So, one of them we talked about, ski. This is probably the most important stance you can learn, because if you can learn this stance, you can learn them all. So what I like to do when I'm in ski, if I want to learn a few more stances from here, and we're only going to cover one more today, is I have my toes pointed out. I'm going to show you my feet. My toes are pointed out, my heels are touching. I'm going to take my heels, and now my feet are pointed directly forward. Let's do this one more time. My toes are pointed out, and now I bring out the very backs of my feet, and now they're pointed directly forward. I'm going to take one foot, point it this way, and take the other foot and follow through. I'm going to bend my knee just to the point it goes right over my toes. And when I do that, and I can't see my toes, I have my very first karate stance. This is called a front stance. The Japanese word is Zen Kujidachi. So, this is going to be one of our very front stances that we learn when it comes to doing any kind of technique. So, now that we have one of our stances, and our very important stances down, let's talk about other very important words. Yame. If yame is called, it means stop immediately. If I have an activity going on that requires you to be moving, or maybe you're outside at recess, and you might be playing a game with somebody else, if a teacher or Mrs. Presley or me comes out and either calls ski or yame, that means stop immediately. And if they call ski, bring your feet together and hands at your side. It's very important if I call yame because it means I need your attention, so we can either go forward in the activity, or something might not be safe and I've seen it, and I'm trying to get your attention so you're aware of it. Okay, so the last thing I want to do with you guys before I let you go is I want to do a cool down. And what that looks like is, you guessed it, it's going to be dealing with balancing. I'm going to be crossing my feet, taking this hand, I'm going to do a big circle into my body, and a big circle into my body, and I'm going to pull my hands up. I'm going to take some deep breaths. I'm going to count to 3 once I take a deep breath to release it. Each, ni, san. I'm going to do this one more time. Each, ni, san. I'm going to be extending my arms right above my head. I want them as much behind my ears as I can. Ready? Take a deep breath in. Each, ni, san. One more. Each, ni, san. I bring my hands in. I'm going to extend them forward. Take a deep breath in. Each, ni, san. Again. Each, ni, san. From here, I can relax my body, and now we're ready for the final part of today. How do we exit, and how do we end class? So, at the end of class, we should all be on our assigned spots. For me, it's right here in the front of the room. I'm going to call ski, or I might have somebody that's appointed my senpai. If I appoint somebody my senpai, I'll explain that more later. It means that they're allowed to do this. So if I call ski, my feet are together, my hands are at my sides, and I'm going to tell us to point to the showman. The showman is at the very front of the room, so it's always important to begin here. Showman, you ready? Boom. Then we turn to sensei. Sensei, you ready? Boom. If I have teachers in the room, I'm going to be turning to them especially. They are very important, and you should be respecting them as well, just like they should be bowing back. Then we turn to our teacher, and after we're done, I would turn to you. So, student, you ready? Boom. And that's how I'd end class. So, I hope you learned a lot from our first day. There's a lot more videos to come from this, and I'm going to keep adding more and more on. So until then, stay safe. Make sure you wear your mask if you're in public. And I can't wait till you guys start answering some of those questions I have for you. Have an awesome day, Summit Academy.